We're going to talk about machining issues. Well, this is the primary slide when we don't have a demo for machining issues, but we're going to talk about what some of the things that can happen, the 5 most common things that you're going to call us about or email us about, because starting on the left, I checked the simulation, but the G-code file won't run on my machine. You're getting an error or whatever. My machine displays an error and will not continue the program. What do? I can't cut. So the number 3, my cut depths are all wrong. We mentioned in the earlier slide about your work 0. If you haven't zeroed machine at the exact location that you've selected in the program in RhinoCam or Visual CAD CAM, obviously your cut depths are going to be all wrong, and you're going to be scratching your head and wondering and wasting cut material on the machine because those are not coming out right. Another one that's really common is we'll get an email to support and say, the surface finish is unacceptable. The program is not cutting right. It's not, what's wrong? Okay. So there's a number of things that you want to look at and one of the things you can do. And we actually have a whole blog article, help topic article on accuracy, and the program can be as accurate as you need it to be. In the default parameters, at factory set parameters, when you load the program, it's not tuned in for the most accuracy because there's some overhead involved. Anytime you increase accuracy, you're going to have more computation time. So it's the factory defaults are set in most common uses for accuracy. So you can adjust those if you need more accuracy. Typically, you won't loosen your accuracy, unless you've got a really large part and you're really not worried about accuracy. You can loosen it to make the processing go faster. But for surface finish is a key area that we get a lot of support calls on. The cutting tool gouged my part. So this can happen for a number of different reasons. If you're trying to cut too deep, let's say you got an 1/8 inch diameter tool and you're trying to cut it an inch deep. Obviously, you wouldn't do that, but if you try to by accident, that tool is going to deflect or it may break. Let's say it's not going to break. Let's say it's going to deflect. So obviously, you're going to have gouging in your perimeter, the curves that you selected. This typically will happen. If it's going to happen, it'll happen at the start point or at the end point, at the start of the cut or the end of the cut. You may see a dimple in the side of your part, wonder why that's happening. Check your tool diameter, your cut depths, make sure you're not trying to cut more than you can for that particular tool. There's other things that can cause that. If you're starting and stopping at the same point and you're cutting a soft material, depending on the perimeter curve, if it's a 3-dimensional curve, some tolerances can come into play so that you start and then stop at not the exact same point that you started. So tolerances can build up. Again, that has to do with accuracy issues that can happen. So you may see a little dimple on your cut start point. So those are some things that.
Don, I got a pet peeve that I got to talk about.
Okay.
Many times we get customers call in suddenly saying, "Hey, my part is coming out all wrong. Everything was working great until yesterday, and something changed suddenly. Software is not working like yesterday." So if this happens, please note that the software, if it worked yesterday correctly, it's not going to change today. The problem most probably is with your machine. Something has changed on the machine. Maybe your machine has gone out of alignment, or maybe the part was not fixtured correctly. And so I know the first inclination for customers is to blame the software, the CAM software. But we've gone through many times with customers, and we have to spend a lot of time showing them that the software indeed is working correctly. So please, when you run into this, especially if this was something that was working before and you see that suddenly not working, the errors probably are most probably on the shop floor, not on the CAM software side. So I just want to make that point. So
Yeah,
when you
especially
run into this,
especially a particular instance of that, would users would say, "Well, I ran this program last week, or I ran it yesterday, or whatever. You know, it's been running fine every time I run this part, but now it's not." So, as Joe mentioned, if you ran the same program, uh, same G code, you know, in the same software version, nothing's changed, then obviously it's not going to be in the program. So something's changed outside of the program itself that, obviously the program doesn't have control over, and that's the machine. The setup is a big area, as Joe mentioned, that problems can arise because there's manual work in the setup. So double check all of that. Good point. Okay. Oh, we got another column here in the center that we didn't talk about. When contacting support, this is very important for both us and you to make sure that you get answers as fast as you can. Because when you're calling us, you don't have time to waste. Okay. We don't want to waste your time, and you don't want to waste our time, which in turn wastes your time. So look at these 6 items, and we're going to go over them in detail. Be as specific as possible. When you email us, believe it or not, we have users that will email us and will say this program doesn't work, and they'll send us the G-code file, but nothing else. It doesn't work. Now, obviously, there's nothing we can do with that. What do we may look backplot the G-code program, but we're probably not going to do anything. We're going to just respond to you in the email. We're going to ask for more information. So when you email us the very first time, be as specific as you can. If it takes a paragraph or two, take a paragraph or two. Okay. Obviously, you don't want to write a book because it's going to take us 30 minutes to read it. But just be as specific to get all the pertinent information as you can, that you understand, that so that we can better help you. Attach your post definition file. A lot of times users will say, it posted, like Joe mentioned, it posted yesterday, or now it's not posting, or I'm getting an error on the machine when I posted this file. Yes, we can look at your G-code file, but we can't recommend any changes because we don't have your post processor definition file, and that's a file. I'll show you what that file is and where it's at. But we need.
The post definition file is needed only if there's a posting issue.
Yeah.
If you see a problem in the part itself, yeah, you wouldn't need it. This is only when you think there's an issue with the post.
Okay.
We want the posting file.
Mm-hmm. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, obviously. Show us a picture of what's happening. Show us a picture of your controller screen. If you got an error message, obviously we have to have a picture of that screen that has the exact description of the error, the line number of the error. Give us the G-code file that you ran for that particular error to occur, not a different one. Don't post it again. We need the exact same program you ran with the exact same line number so we can look at it and determine exactly what might be causing the problem. So pictures are absolutely required, and in other cases they're very, very helpful to determine what's causing a problem. Either a picture of the screen in the program, you can do a screen grab, or just a picture of a part that's sitting on your table that's incorrect and you don't understand what happened. If it's G-code file related, make sure, as I mentioned, make sure you send the exact G-code file that you ran that caused the error on your machine. Again, images if possible. So if you follow those 6 things, the very first time that you contact us, in all likelihood and in all cases, it will shorten the time that you get answers back. We know that for sure, because that's the way it happens running through doing support for years and years. Users, when they have a problem, they tend to just react and send us an email, but you need to take some time for you to understand what's happening on your end, to understand what you don't understand, so that you can help us understand what's not working right. So it'll make the process go a lot faster. So when you go back and watch this video of the webinar, check stop on the screen, all of the screens, but more these last few slides, and make sure you read them and make notes of them. Print it out and pin it on your wall right beside your computer if you don't remember, or if you got so much going on. If you have an error, this is what I got to do: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that'll help you out.
Yeah, I just want to add this note saying, I mean, we're not trying to make your job harder. It's just we're just trying to help you. When you come to support, we're doing our best to help you. And all of this is tailored to do our job better, so we can help you, in a better manner. So that's why we are asking this. Don't consider this as some kind of onerous thing that we're putting on you. So.
Yeah. Like I said in the beginning of this slide, help us help you in the fastest way possible. We talked about machining issues in detail, like I mentioned. I'm not going to show you anything in the program, but all the issues that can happen, when you're cutting on your machine and something's not right. So go back and look at that slide when you look at the video replay, and make sure you understand those issues. So any other questions, Joe? It looks like we're wrapped up. Okay, I don't hear Joe, so it looks like we're, let me just double check on the question.
Sorry, Don.
Okay.
Sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a lot of good questions. It was a good webinar. So if you have any additional questions on the webinar, please drop us an email, and we'll definitely take time to answer those. Again, thanks for your attendance, and we'll see you next month.
Okay, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.